Okay, we're back. I'm going to show you a couple other things real quick here, mainly cutting tools, and then get into these other things I wanted to show you. To me, it's almost impossible to have too many cutting tools. And I have an assortment of them. I wouldn't necessarily carry all of them with me all the time because the weight does add up. But you need an assortment of cutting tools. And one of the things that I wanted to show you, which a lot of people are familiar with anyway, but I would like to show the people that are not familiar with it, it's called a folding limb saw. It's just a plastic handle about as long as this knife sheath, and it has a curved saw blade in it. You unfold it, lock it, and you can really cut some, even small trees with it. And they're not very expensive. The handle is a kind of plastic. It's almost like nylon, very rugged. It's almost an indispensable tool. And if I would have liked to have shown it to you, but I'm not sure where I put mine at the moment. But I have an assortment of knives, just different things. Some of them are rougher than others, and some of them I use them roughly. But just remember Crocodile Dundee? That's a knife. But I have just an assortment. This is actually an Army bayonet. They're a lot tougher than some of your commercial knives. A really good survival knife. I mean, if you want a top quality survival knife, you can probably expect to pay, maybe at least $50 for one used and up. Now, this is a real jewel. I wouldn't go anywhere for very long without having a hatchet. This one's kind of like me. It's old and unpolished, and but it's still good and solid. You can cut trees down with this if you need to. And of course, if you're going somewhere in your vehicle and you can take a good double-bladed axe or a maul axe, either one, then that's great. But if you're kind of limited on weight, I mean, both of those items, you're talking about 10 or 12 pounds maybe or something. This is not so big. It's not so heavy. It's just invaluable. Chopping kindling, splitting off kindling off of wood. It's just something that you really need if you're going to be out there very long. You need a hatchet. And you can get various forms of these. This is actually not a machete. It almost is, and you could use it as one, but it's really not quite long enough if you're going to have to be trying to clear a way through mesquite or even buckbrush or anything like that. A good machete, which I do have one of those too. But this is a little bit more of a multi-tool. And you might could use something like this if you were confronted with a bear, and I won't get too much into that, but if you're confronted with a bear, and it's a good possibility, especially the places some of us would be thinking of going. When I was on my road trip, I spent a night at free open campsite about 22 miles north of Billings, Montana. Drove up through the valley up through there to get to it, and about 5 miles before I got to the campsite, I saw two black bear cubs run across the road in front of me. And so I know this was in June, early first half of June. So I know their mother was not too far in front of them. And you can always keep that in mind too, the time of year. If you're in the mountains anywhere, and we have black bears here in eastern Kentucky at least, I wouldn't be surprised if they're around here. This is south central Kentucky. But there are black bears in a lot of places, and normally they're not very much of a problem at all. But to keep in time the time of year that you may be camping out or whatever, if you're out there in May and especially early June, you're out there after these sow bears have had their cubs and come out of their dens, and they got two things going on. They're hungry, and they've got these cubs to protect. And that can be a really bad time to find yourself confronting a mama bear. And grizzlies, of course, maybe a whole different thing there. But if you're not able to have a gun with you, and a serious gun, and believe me, there's been more than one person died trying to kill a bear with a .38 special. But if you can't have a gun with you, and there's going to be a potential for bears, you need something, and everybody has to figure this out on their own. Everybody tells you don't try to run. So if you're not going to run, what are you going to do? They say the best thing to do is play dead. Well, that may work too, and it probably is a good thing to do. And I believe they will leave you alone sooner after they do attack you if you seem to be dead. Of course, by then you may be torn up so bad that you're gonna die. But so it's a matter of, well, what can you do? Well, they do make a bear quality pepper spray. Now, I was told that they sell it in Walmart. Now, I was up there in the mountains in June, and I went in 2 or 3 Walmarts at least, you know, and I never found any. But they say that at least the bear quality pepper spray will dissuade a bear. And I would guess, I mean, I never had it sprayed in my face, but I would guess that it probably is painful enough and whatever that, you know, especially you let the bear get close enough to you, you can spray it right in its face, right up its nose, and in its eyes. Then yeah, I could see where that might help you out, you know. And I know I may be off on things here, but there are just a lot of things to surviving, and we could probably never go over all of it, and there's always something to add. So I'm just trying, as I go along here, I'm just trying to throw in things here and there as I think of them. And it's important to survival. It's not going to do you much good to get out there and have all the good equipment in the world and then end up out there bleeding out because a bear got a hold of you. So, I mean, you can think about these things. Now, if you happen to have, or if you want to take with you, along with the pepper spray, and believe me, I mean, it's good to have more than one thing if you can. But one thing that can work pretty good, especially since most of those wild critters don't like fire, a can of hairspray or almost any sort of aerosol, and you'd want to try it out a little bit first. But a can of hairspray, especially, you take a cigarette lighter and light it. You spray that hairspray through there, and it's like a blowtorch. Yeah, I mean, I hate the idea of letting a bear get close enough to me that I can spray it in the face with a blowtorch. But you know, you do what you can when you can to save yourself. But back to the knives. Now, what I had reasoned was that with a good sharp knife, now I would never try to stab a bear in its body. That's a waste of time. I don't think you're going to hurt it enough even, stabbing it. They're used to fighting each other and getting chewed up and ripped apart by each other's fangs and claws. You know, I don't think that's going to do anything. But if you got a good sharp knife, I mean, if you don't have any other choice, if you can at all manage to keep your cool long enough for the bear to get close enough, and you have one shot to do this, if you've got a good sharp knife, you might be able to cut its throat. And any animal like that, if you got a sharp enough knife, you can cut deep enough to cut its carotid artery, and just like a human or anything else, once you cut that, the bear's done. I mean, it's going to pass out. You know, he might get in a swipe. You know, I don't know, but it just these are things to think about and try to plan for, because there are just so many things out there when you're away from all your conveniences and your 375 H&H Magnum. When you don't have all that stuff with you, I mean, you have to do what you can do. Now, how much time have I got? Okay, I got about 4 minutes. I'll show you before I cut the camera off and start another 15-minute segment. This is called a Wyoming knife. This is a jewel. If you're maybe going to be living out there and killing large game to eat, one of these can be real handy, partly because they're comfortable. You can do all of what I'm going to talk about with a pocket knife, I guess, you know, but these things are just great. You take this is just a protective cover. You've got you see here, you got an inside blade, and this is an outside blade. And they are razor sharp. They're every bit as sharp as it probably looks like. And what you do with this, if you kill a deer, and contrary, I mean, the easiest thing to do with a deer is to hang it up by its back feet. I mean, that's usually what people do, and that's the handy thing to do, kind of. But if you hang a deer up, any animal like that, if you hang it up by its back feet, then you got all of its organs are settling down up into the upper part of their body cavity. If you hang it up by its neck or its antlers or by its front feet or whatever, if you hang it up that way, then all of its organs are going to be down here. Either way, you take this. I'm going to be careful here because, like I say, I catch myself looking in that camera. You know, I don't want to cut my fingers off. But you make a slight cut into the deer's belly hide, just deep enough that you can see that you've got through it. Then you turn this over. You stick this part down inside that cut like that, and then you pull this way, and this blade will unzip that deer out of its skin like it was a zipper. I mean, just makes the work a lot easier. Then you can turn it over, use this for trimming away the hide from the meat. You can use that for cutting off pieces, sections of meat and whatever. Now I'm at got about 30 seconds left. Wyoming knife. Get one of those if you can, if you're going to be out there very long. And then I'll be back with you again just very shortly.